All righty, and it is finally time to wrap up the 2018 Mackinac Policy Conference. And joining me to do that is the CEO of the Detroit Regional Chamber, Sandy Baruah. Sandy, it's always good to see you on this Friday morning of the conference.
Thanks, Christy.
And Ray Telang, he is the conference chair this year. So Ray, congratulations on a great conference.
Oh, thank you, Christy.
All right, so we've got to sit back for a moment, kind of take it all in, and I'm going to ask both of you some of the highlights of the week. And Sandy, I'm going to start with you.
Well, certainly the biggest national news story we had was the John Boehner remarks about the state of the Republican Party. I mean, that was picked up by CNN and MSNBC and Fox and everybody. And it was really interesting because the night before, Speaker Boehner turned to Devin Scillian, who interviewed him on stage, saying, I really don't want to make any news. I just want to have a nice conversation. That didn't work out quite so well for the speaker.
No, it did not. And for someone who didn't really want to make news, he definitely let a few things fly there during that conversation. It was very interesting.
No, and frankly, the establishment of the Republican Party has really kind of rallied to his comments. You look at what Michael Steele has said and what others, are part of that establishment wing of the Republican Party have said. You're absolutely right. The Republican Party I knew has left me, and it's taking a nap someplace, and it's been replaced by the Trump Party, and it's not a party I really understand.
Ray, what were some of the highlights for you?
For me, listening to Peggy Noonan and her use of the English language and storytelling and some of her own experiences and giving us her perspective on what she's seeing in Washington and what she sees in society as she traveled the country as part of her correspondent requirements back in 2016. I thought that was really interesting. It's one of those segments that I know I didn't catch it all live, so I'll go back once I get back to my computer and click
it's
on
all
that.
on demand, Detroit Public Television.
Exactly right.
Give her the hint on that.
And I'm going to watch that one probably more than twice, just because there's so much content there, and I just felt that was really moving.
One of the things that people talked to me about that really stood out for them was the session on education where Dr. Vitti was there, who's the superintendent of Detroit Public Community Schools District, along with Mayor Mike Duggan. What was some of the reaction you were hearing, Sandy?
So one of the most prominent things I've heard coming out of that session is, wow, Dr. Vitti is the right guy. He's the real deal. Obviously, he's been hard at work. He's been in the role just about a year right now. This is probably one of his largest and biggest public appearances, and I think it paid huge dividends for him and for the Detroit public school system.
Ray, you and I talked before the conference, a couple weeks before, kind of setting up, what are some of the biggest issues that we're tackling up here and some of the biggest conversations about what we have to do now in this next year. A lot of stuff about roads, a lot of things about education. What else are you hearing that people are going to be taking off the island?
Well, I think the conversation around mobility and next generation, and are we doing enough to attract the talent, that's going to keep us in the forefront of the industry and the movement that's happening there. And then there's workforce development as well. Are we investing? Do we have enough programs? And are we coordinated in a way that is going to really get the most out of the money that we're spending in that area and create the kind of skill sets that our employers need today?
So when we leave the island and when you leave the island of the Detroit Regional Chamber, it's one of those things that you've started to incorporate into the conference, a to-do list. So it's not just talk and conversation and then everyone says, well, see you next year, but it's some action plans to be able to take the momentum and go forward. So you have a list for me. Who wants to start off with a to-do list?
I'll go first. So this year we have a to-do list of 4 items. 2 of them are focused on the region specifically, and 2 of them are more statewide issues. And the first one is really focusing on our region. We probably need to have some sort of Davos or regional summit of just principles, our elected officials, our top corporate leaders, to really kind of reignite the ethos of collaboration and regional partnership that worked so well with, say, with Cobo Hall or with the Grand Bargain. We're starting to see some around, especially regional transit.
It's fraying a little bit there.
It's fraying a little bit, and we want to make sure we don't lose that ethos.
Okay, and what's our next on the list there, Ray?
Christy, just build on the conversation that we had today or earlier this week. We're going to develop, maintain, advance a comprehensive policy and regulatory agenda to maintain Michigan's leadership role in next generation mobility. Making sure that we heard from Don Butler that the technology is moving, it's going to be here quicker than we probably even know today. Is our policies in Lansing keeping pace with that in a way that can make us be successful?
Yeah, because we are not the only state that has our eye on that. All right, what's the next one, Sandy?
So obviously a lot of conversations around education and talent, and our employers' needs to bring talent into the state and maintain talent in the state. So we want to have a best-in-class strategy in the Detroit region to attract talent, keep talent, and keep talent engaged. So we're looking at some best-in-class models, and we want to roll that out into the Detroit region. When you look at what West Michigan is doing or what the Denver region is doing, they've got some really great tools to attract and keep talent.
Okay, and the final one?
And again, building on the panel discussion, provide useful and easy to implement strategies to combat the opioid misuse in the workplace. As we heard on the panel,
yeah, that was a great panel as well. Yeah,
lots of tools, and I think that that's an issue that many of us are unaware of, and frankly, it's probably in front of us and we don't even know it. And the tools that they talked about that are available to employers to assess their own workforce, to make sure that they're doing all the things necessary to keep their workplaces safe and their employees healthy, I think is going to be a really important issue as we move forward. And,
and we'll be kind of looking at this list and checking in with you as the year goes on. But what kind of energy, as we just finally wrap up here, Sandy and Ray, what kind of energy are you taking from this week, and where you think we stand as a whole?
So the momentum in Michigan is clearly strong. I mean, we haven't been stronger as a state in the last 20 or 30 years, right? So the wind's at our back. We just need to keep that momentum going. We have issues to fix. Certainly statewide education. We have got to fix education. We are shallowing on that issue in a significant way. And regional transit still continues to be a red flashing light in the Southeast Michigan region.
Absolutely. Ray?
And I just hope that when people leave the island that they're equally as energized about the opportunities as well. We've got lots of things to work on, as any community does, but we've got a great foundation to build upon, and I for one, am excited. I hope others are as well.
So your job is done here. Is this what I'm seeing?
Yes. This is my last formal duty of the week, but it's been a great week. The Chamber has the best staff. I just needed to stay out of their way because they knew the drill and they took care of everything. So
he's been a great chair, and his team at PwC have been terrific to work with. Just it's been a seamless organization.
I'm going to echo Sandy's staff and the Detroit Regional Chamber staff, because they really put on this event, which is very unique. You don't see a lot of other places in the country doing something like this.
Everyone's trying to copy it, and no one has been able to.
And so next year, Patty Poppy from Consumers is going to be the chair of the conference.
Yeah, no, Patty's been involved in this conference for several years. She serves on our executive committee with Ray, and we're excited that she's going to take the helm. And every chair adds something new to our portfolio, as Ray did, and we're looking forward to what Patty will add. And
it's going to be an exciting year next year. We're going to have a new governor, kind of a different dynamic, and we'll see.
Whole new set of statewide elected officials.
Absolutely, and so we're going to see where everything leads us. It's always good to see both of you. Ray Telang, Sandy Baruah, of course. Thank you so much. It's always good to see you. Have a safe ride back home.
And thanks for the partnership.
Yes,
absolutely. It is our pleasure. It's so important to be able to bring this to everyone else who can't actually be here, because as I like to tell everyone, the people who can affect change, whether it's business leaders, whether it's philanthropists, or whether it's politicians, are all right here. So that's why this conference is so very, very important. Good to see both of you. Thanks. And thanks to you for watching. And I want to say a big thank you, first of all, to the Grand Hotel for hosting us in the parlor. It's not every day that you get to show up to work and sit in the Grand Hotel parlor and do it. So thank you very much for the hospitality. Of course, also the Detroit Regional Chamber for partnering with us. And a special thank you from me to the entire crew at Detroit Public Television who has helped put on this entire broadcast over the past 4 days. They've done an excellent job, and it is no easy feat to do a television production on an island that does not allow cars. So great job, and thanks. For all of us at Detroit Public Television, I'm Christy McDonald. That's going to do it for Mackinac 2018. We'll see you back downstate.